Hi, this is Adam Griggs, Science Manager for River Network. I'd like to welcome you to this segment on USGS water budget tools, a part of River Network's science module on water security and environmental flows. This video is a demonstration of available and developing resources available from the USGS Water Census Data Resources portal for collecting data and information necessary for constructing a water budget. Our speaker is Dave Blodgett, the project coordinator for the National Data Resources portal. I want to thank you for viewing this segment and encourage you to explore the other recordings and resources available in this science module and to stay tuned for other upcoming resources and, of course, as always, the workshops offered at our annual National River Rally. And now Dave Blodgett of the U.S. Geological Survey.
Great. Thanks, Adam. I'll be sharing the National Water Census Data Portal, which is a collection of data resources for exploration and analysis of water budget information. The data portal is available at cida.usgs.gov/NWC. You can also find it by Googling for National Water Census Data Portal. I'll get to it by doing that just to show you how easy it can be. The first link comes up, the National Water Census Data Portal. And when we follow through, here we are at the data portal itself. And this data portal is meant to help you discover a set of data resources that we publish through the National Water Census Program. It's made up of 4 parts. One for general kind of water budget data analysis and data discovery. One for analysis of streamflow statistics, primarily for ecological flow analyses. One for aquatic biology data discovery, especially for aquatic biology data that has streamflow data nearby. And a general data reports and descriptions portion where you can find information about National Water Census data reports and projects. So we're going to focus on the water budget functionality today, and we'll zoom into a particular type of water budget data resource using the portal to discover that resource. So once I've clicked through to the available water budget components part of the data portal, the first thing I see is some help text that just describes the workflow that you would use to use this portion of the portal and just gives you an idea of kind of what you should be doing here. The page has kind of 4 primary controls. One to control the map. These should be fairly intuitive. Select, pan, zoom. The second is to choose the hydrologic unit code layer that you want to select from. So this is either 12-digit or 8-digit. The third is the ability to turn stream gauges on. So here we have all of the National Water Information System stream gauges for which we have streamflow, which will be described in a later segment in this module. And the fourth is a location search. So first, just to demonstrate the map tools, if I click zoom, I can zoom into a particular area. Pan allows me to pan around to look at watersheds wherever I might want to find one. And select allows me to click on the map to go to a particular watershed. For this demonstration, we're going to be using a watershed in the Middle Tombigbee, just downstream of Demopolis, Alabama. In this location search, if you just start typing, you start to see places that match your text. So we're going to go to Demopolis, Alabama. So the map just zoomed to Demopolis, and I have the 8-digit hydrologic unit code watersheds turned on. So if I zoom out a little bit, we can start to see the watersheds themselves. To see the whole river network, if you keep zooming out, you can see here we are in a watershed that goes through Tuscaloosa. I'll go back to zoom. The one we want to look at is right here downstream of Demopolis. I'll go to select and click on this watershed. So now I'm on the available water budget components data resource page. And the reason I say data resource page now is the URL is the cida.usgs.gov/NWC, and then water budget /HUC /an 8-digit hydrologic unit code watershed identifier. This is basically creating a resource for you that includes all the content on this page just by passing in the identifier for the page you want. On this page, we have some options. The first is to select a watershed to compare, and we'll share that functionality in a later segment. We can plot information about water use for a county that's near this watershed, and I'll show that functionality in a second. Further down the page, we have some controls to change units on the plot from US customary to metric. We have the ability to download data. We have the ability to change the time base of the plot from annual to monthly to daily. And then at the bottom of the page, we have some links off to documentation about the data that's on the page right now. Before I go on, I should mention this is a water budget summary of available water budget components. As the National Water Census progresses, we hope to add more components. Right now, we have precipitation, evapotranspiration for the watershed, and county water use information for counties that are near the watershed. As the National Water Census progresses, you'll see water use information coming out for watersheds rather than attributed to counties. You'll see stream flow information available for more and more watersheds in particular. We will have stream flow information available in a later segment in this module. And you'll start to see more closure of the water budget in the sense that we will take precipitation, evapotranspiration, runoff, and other components of the water budget and add them all up to see if this is a closed or somehow not closed water budget. So I'm going to start going into some details about what's on the page by sharing what data we actually are making available. So the precipitation data is available from a source called DAMET. So I follow this link to DAMET, a new tab opened up, and an Oak Ridge National Lab page for the DAMET dataset opened. And so here you can see the DAMET dataset is a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer daily gridded representation of precipitation for the conterminous US and parts of southern Canada. So this dataset is actually like an image. They're 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer cells, and there's an image like that for every day, going from 1980 up till a recent year. And this dataset's updated on a more or less annual basis. What we present in the Water Census data resources is a precipitation number that is the summary of those 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer grid cells associated with this watershed polygon. So similar to DAMET, we have a data set known as the Operational Simplified Surface Energy Balance for the conterminous US actual evapotranspiration data. So this is an estimate of actual evapotranspiration derived from the MODIS thermal imagery remote sensing. More documentation, more information about how these data were produced, how they were quality controlled, is available through the documentation links if you follow through either the Simplified Surface Energy Balance dataset page or the DAMET page. So both of these datasets were summarized using a tool called the Geodata Portal. This is a tool that the USGS has produced that allows you to sample gridded datasets to particular polygons. And there are a lot of datasets available through the Geodata Portal, but DAMET is one of them. And if you search for SSEB here, you'll see Simplified Surface Energy Balance is also one of the datasets available here. This is the tool for more advanced users to be able to upload a shapefile of polygons and create a custom time series for particular datasets of interest. This is commonly used by hydrologic modelers or ecological modelers who need access to climate and other big gridded time series datasets like DAMET and SSEB, the Simplified Surface Energy Balance model. So the last item documented here is the next thing I'm going to talk about, and that's a set of historical county polygons that we have associated with water use information. So up at the top of the page now, we have the ability to plot county water use data. So if I click that button, a map opens, and the counties associated with this watershed get loaded up. So you can see now, as if I zoom in, you can see there's Choctaw County and Marengo County that are pretty well associated with, or they appear to be pretty well associated with the watershed that we're looking at. If we come down just a little bit, the table below shows the county associated with the watershed and the percent that the HUC is in the county, so the percent of the watershed that overlays the county, and the percent of the county that overlays the watershed. So we can see here Choctaw is 93% in our watershed, and Marengo is 82% in our watershed. This means that the water use in Choctaw and Marengo County should be fairly representative of the water use in the watershed. So if I click on Marengo County now, we come to a new data resource page. And the data resource is now water budget /HUC / the 8-digit code for this HUC / county and the FIPS code for the county that we're looking at, for this Marengo County. So again, the reminder that Marengo County is 39% of the watershed, and the watershed is 82% of Marengo County is shown here, just so we know how representative this water use information is. And we get a plot that summarizes the water use for Marengo County. So in this case, industrial is dominant. It looks like the second is public supply. And if you roll over these, you can see the millions of gallons per day associated with those constituents of water use. You can also, this is an interesting function, you can also look at the area normalized county water use. So now instead of a volume, million gallons per day, we're looking at the number of inches per day so the number of inches of water per day over this county. This is kind of the number you would use in a water budget analysis. We can see these are quite small in inches per day, but this is useful when we're comparing to a daily time series of precipitation and evapotranspiration, so we understand how these two data sources might impact each other, or what the order of magnitude of these two data sources really is. So that's the interactive plot, but with all these interactive plots, we can download the actual data that was used to create the plot. So if I click the download water use button here, we get a CSV file that has the county water use data in it. So in this case, we've got a summary of the water use categories from the aggregate water use data set that were used to create these top-level public supply domestic irrigation type summary values. We have a link to go get the rest of the water use information if you want access to all these categories. And then we have the data in a basic table down below, showing each of these top-level categories, the value that's used for that plot in each of the water use compilation years that are available. Coming back to the data resource here, let's scroll down and show, so on this interactive plot, we have the ability to look at daily information. We can zoom in, pan across the daily to see, say, particular events in the past. We can switch to monthly to get an idea of what the water budget looks like kind of on an annual monthly cycle, which is kind of an interesting view to understand how precipitation and evapotranspiration relate to each other. And we can actually look at an annual water budget, which is very, very interesting because we can start to see on a full annual timescale kind of how do evapotranspiration and precipitation compare in this watershed. And just like with county water use, we can download the evapotranspiration data, open it up in Excel. So here we can see monthly evapotranspiration numbers in millimeters per month, and we have precipitation data in millimeters per day. So in all these data sets that we're making available as downloads, we're providing them in the time step and units that the data exist in natively, just to honor the data providers and make sure we're providing the real data that exists. These are all quite simple to convert, and that's an activity that should be part of a water budget analysis that gets done with these data sets. Going back to the Water Resources Portal, that pretty much concludes my demonstration of the capabilities of this data resources page. The one more thing I'll show is when we're on this county data resource, if we just click back, it actually just brings us back to the Watershed data resource. And we could plot county water use data, and when this map loads, click on Choctaw County to go get the water use information for Choctaw County. And that's for all of these pages, because this is just a resource that we're looking at. When we click back, we go back to the resource we were at before, and if we click back again, we come out to the page where we selected a watershed, where we could then, say, select a different watershed. So in a later segment, we will share that we also have water budget information available for much finer resolution watersheds. In this case, 12-digit hydrologic unit code watersheds. So turn these on the map, and you can see from HUC 8 to HUC 12, we have many more watersheds. For 12-digit hydrologic unit code watersheds, we also, for some of them, have stream flow information available from the National Water Information System. So if I click Turn Gauges on, everywhere that you see a blue dot, there's also an accumulated water budget for all of the 12-digit hydrologic unit code watersheds that contribute to the one containing the gauge, where we can show a summary of precipitation, evapotranspiration, and stream flow. So there's much more you can do with a water budget that includes that stream flow or runoff term, and that'll be part of a later segment. So and with that, I think I will turn it back over to you, Adam, and thank you very much for the opportunity to share what we've been doing at the Water Census, and look forward to the additional data, the additional functionalities that I alluded to earlier, and we're really excited to be able to put this stuff out there for everybody to use.
Thanks, Dave. That was great. To all of you that joined us, thank you for watching this segment. We hope you're now excited and tools on the Water Census Data Resources Portal. And do make sure you check out the other resources that make up this science module, and there's the link there posted on our River Network website, where we're going to be aggregating resources from USGS, Nature Conservancy, and others who are putting together tools to investigate water security and environmental flows. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at River Network if you want further support on developing water budgets or investigating environmental flows. Thanks again.